Hey, it's James from Marketing for Restaurants here, and welcome to episode 142 of Secret Sauce, the restaurant marketing podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about what restaurants can learn from the closing down of Sizzler in Australia. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, then I'm actually doing a podcast of the episode so that you'll be able to see some of the things that we are looking at. If you are listening to the podcast, then definitely check out our Facebook page, because this is going, this whole video will go up on our Facebook page. You'll be able to see the kind of things that I'm talking about. So we thought we'd, up our game just a little bit. And we've got some pretty exciting things that we're planning on doing with it. Literally, this is a dry run for it. So, yes, it's kind of our experimental kitchen night in the Marketing for Restaurants Secret Sauce Lab. So, first off, how did you go with our unique selling proposition episode that we did last week? So, actually, it was a couple of weeks ago now. One of our more popular one, we know that there's a lot of people out there looking for information about unique selling propositions. So, if you didn't get a chance to have a listen to it, have a listen. There's lots of interesting things that we can talk about. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Sizzler, and then what they're doing is they're closing down 7 restaurants in Australia. So, Collins Food, the owner of... 9 restaurants. Collins Food, they're closing down all of the Sizzler stores in Australia. In announcing the closure, they said that the financial performance of the network of Sizzler Australia restaurants had been under constant review since 2015. COVID-19 hit Sizzler worse than it did KFC and Taco Bell. They're the other 2 restaurants in the Collins Food stable. Revenue's been slow to recover, and overall Sizzler business operated at a loss. They said in financial year 20, Sizzler Australia revenues accounted for less than 3% of Collins Foods' total revenue. While the Sizzler Australia closure will allow us to minimise current year and future losses, there'll be some one-off closure costs that will be reflected in the upcoming half-year results. So, Sizzler closing down, a significant part of that because of COVID-19. But I don't think it is only because of COVID-19. And we're going to have a look at what some of the lessons are for restaurant owners around the world to try and avoid what's happened with Sizzler. Obviously, COVID-19, they aren't the first restaurants to be closing down because of COVID-19. And you know what? They certainly won't be the last ones in the world to be closing down because of COVID-19. And it's really interesting because as we look around the world, we're seeing all sorts of issues. So in Australia, just Adelaide today had a cluster of 17. Queensland seems to be doing all right. Victoria's celebrating because they've had their first... They've had their first 2 weeks without any COVID cases, which is pretty exciting. So let's delve a little bit more into Sizzler. There's a shot of their amazing toast. So closing the restaurants was something that we don't do often, and it's not a decision we take lightly, especially for a brand as beloved as Sizzler, which has been such an important part of the Collins Food history. We are extremely grateful to our dedicated employees, suppliers and customers for their support network, and look forward to engaging with them through other brands as the Collins Foods overall growth story continues. Now, there's a shot of their amazing bread, which was one of their big signature items, but probably not. And the thing that's really interesting, and I spoke to one of our developers, Jason, a couple of days ago about Sizzler closing down, because that is something that maybe 25 years ago is something that we would have gone to a Sizzler. And I've got to tell you, the bread was something that was there then. Really interesting. So the first thing is they haven't moved a lot very much in the last 25 years. Here's a picture of the breakfast menu. Not sure how popular their breakfasts were, but same sort of deal. Very similar to what a lot of other places would be offering. There's the salad bar. So they said same store sales declined at -5%. With Sizzler's, so that was Sizzler Australia revenue, same stores down 5.6%, and Sizzler revenue was down 79.9%. They did about 38 million last year. So due to dine-in restrictions, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, imposed for the final few months of financial year 20, Sizzler has only allowed to trade on a takeaway and delivery basis, which we were able to launch in just a matter of weeks. Well, you know what? There are many, many, many restaurants out there who've had to deliver this really quickly. So many restaurants who've delivered either takeout or delivery options very quickly. So they did have some issues with that. And we're going to have a look at that. So what we want to do is, so straight up, just having a look at these photos, there's a couple of things that's really interesting. So there's no Sizzler restaurants in Victoria. They closed down years and years ago. I couldn't find out just how big their network got in Australia, but it was quite a popular restaurant chain. Big thing, that food buffet looks exactly the same. So that appealed to the tastes of the community 25 years ago. How far has it moved on? Really good question. So there might be some questions about the product that they're offering. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at some of their social media. So this is one of their posts. 1 comment, 4 shares, 8 interactions. Not super great. Good morning, sunshine. We'll see you for breakfast. So they've got a breakfast offering. Now, you need to make bookings in Queensland and New South Wales. These were some of the COVID restrictions that were being brought out. What is the product that you sell? What is the action that you are wanting to generate with your social media post? That is a really good question. And I think this is where things start to come unstuck, because there's an egg there which I have to tell you I don't find really appetizing. The product should have been a super yummy breakfast. That doesn't represent it. You could have gone one step further and have a product where I get to take my family out and give them pancakes and they think that I'm the best father in the world. That's a much more engaging product. That's actually something that I would pay a premium for. Now, we're talking about a restaurant that's been losing us money, and their financial performance has been under close scrutiny for the last 5 years as it's trended downwards. Maybe that's something that we should have been thinking about, trying to build a product that would have been a little bit more appealing, something that I would have paid a premium for. So rather than that picture of the eggs, we could have had, beautiful pancakes, beautiful bacon and eggs, something just a little bit more appealing. I also suspect that there's no ad run behind that, given the fact that there's very low interaction. Now, next one. Kids eat free. So yes, that's right. Kids eat free at Sizzler. Visit your local Sizzler restaurant for lunch, dinner, or a Sunday breakfast, and enjoy our Kids Eat Free offer. Okay, so that's not too bad. We're starting to hone in on the fact that this is a family restaurant. But the interesting thing is, and so when you have a look at it, so 86 interactions, 252 comments. Wow, that's pretty cool. Then you start having a look at it. All of these are questions about the way that the COVID restrictions apply. So what had happened, what they decided to do at Sizzler, they'd opened, and they're famous for their salad buffet, all you can eat. That's their thing. That's what they're really big on. But issue, they are only it's table service only. So that means you can't go to the buffet and get all that you can eat. And they're not really clear on that. So my question is, why did they open? when part of your core product is something that you're unable to deliver, it's only going to create backlash. You can see that. Have you gone to original dining? Are we allowed to help ourselves now? So a little bit of a problem for them in the fact that they weren't able to literally use their salad buffet. So social media, we've got a few issues there. Happy Father's Day. So that's a good one. Only 22 likes, 3 comments. Pretty bland. I think they're using the same graphic designer because we have that same sort of motif, which I don't really think is great. And once again, look at the comment. How about advertising loud and clear that it's booking only? Maybe actually put it on your website, not in teeny weeny fine print. Waste of 45 minutes drive. If you're going to have a call to action, then you should be letting the people know what the T's and C's are, particularly in these COVID times. Now, next one. They've got a picnic at home. A little bit of innovation. That's not too bad, but once again, a really boring photo, and I think we need to be doing a bit better than that. Next one. Our famous Sunday breakfast banquet is back. Now, so we've actually got a photo here, and I think we're halfway there with it. We're still a little bit of work to do. Now, you've got an Eggs Benny there, it looks like. A little bit of Eggs Benedict. You've got a nice fruit cup. If we'd taken that photo down, and I don't want to pick on their photo, but I would have thought that any restaurant owner with their mobile phone could have taken an image just as good as this one. Probably a little bit better. A little bit of bright sunlight. We're good to go. Maybe play with the angle a bit. Maybe brighten up those colours. I don't know whether this is a styling guide thing. Does that look washed out to you? It does to me. It doesn't look super appealing. It looks a little bit sterile. So just think about the way that you're presenting some of the stuff. This is the best one that they've got. 46 comments. I didn't actually have a look to see what they were. And I'm not sure if an ad was run to it. I suspect probably not. And I think probably a lot of those comments there are around the same sort of issues that they've been having. So what we'll do now is we will go and have a look at the website. Now, this is the first thing that hit me when we had a look at the website. Not secure. If you click on that little button on the website, if your website says not secure, this is what Google says. Your connection to this site is not secure. You should not enter any sensitive information on this site, for example, passwords or credit cards, because it could be stolen by attackers. Not cool. Now, this became a thing about 2 years ago. So there's definitely something that they should have been doing to update that. I think that this is a big failing on head office. Collins Food. They've got lots of people. I would have thought they've got a marketing department. This is something that they should have been on top of, making sure that their website was secure. Yes, we see lots of people with restaurants that aren't secure. I would say probably 10%. Google doesn't want to refer people to websites that aren't secure because it's concerned about the fact that it could be a scam. So that would definitely affect their rankings. Now, this is what their front page looks like. Now, obviously, important announcement from Sizzler. No prizes for guessing what that is. But let's have a look at the banners underneath it. So, an important announcement from Sizzler. That's fine. Menu log. When will people ever learn? So, Collins Food, probably big enough to have had their own online ordering system, probably have the technical skills to being able to integrate some ones. They could have used Frollo, the free restaurant online ordering system. Plenty of options out there. So these guys are getting charged a fortune. On top of that, having no idea who their customers are because they don't get the email address, they don't get the customer details in any way, shape or form. So I think, good on them for trying delivery, but realistically, they needed to probably have a think about their product because, they're famous for their all-you-can-eat buffet. That doesn't work too well in a delivery kind of context. And also, using menu log, probably a big killer. 20% off student and senior discount. Okay, so we're starting to have a think about who those customers are. Trying to build in some loyalty with certain demographics. That's cool. And their famous cheesy bread, and we all know the cheesy bread is designed to line your stomach so that you can't eat too much of the buffet. But it was pretty damn nice. Now, what have they got running on the website? So this is a tool that we use with customers when they come on board for us if they're looking for our SEO Plus product. So they've got Facebook, they've got Google Analytics. Yay! That's one of those things that you should be using. The number of customers who come to us and they don't actually have any sort of analytics on their website, so they don't know how many people are going to their website. Untidy. They're using WordPress. Hooray, that's a good thing. Lots of customization that you can put in that. They didn't put a lot of customization in there. Yoast SEO. So this is our favorite SEO plugin for WordPress. It's awesome, but once again, they didn't use it a lot. So they do have the Facebook pixel. If you scroll down, they do have the Facebook pixel. So from a technology point of view, they're actually doing not too badly. Page speed. So the website is actually pretty simple. It's a little bit shocking that their page speed is so slow, particularly on a mobile. And this is where page speed really hurts you, because a lot of people are going to be on your website while they're browsing. They may not have 5G. The website might be quite slow. And if it takes a long time to render, then people are going to leave the website. So page speed is something that you want to look at. On a mobile, their website's not that quick. On desktop, it's a bit better, but how many people are actually on your website from a desktop? I would have thought the average restaurant, probably less than 25%. So you've got to be thinking mobile first. And that's what we do when we're developing websites. Mobile first. Mobile, mobile, mobile. Now, let's have a look at what it looks like on a mobile. It's not great, is it? So it's very functional. There's a list of places in Queensland that you can go and eat at Sizzler. But I think when you're fighting this hard to get people to come into your restaurant, you probably should be doing a little bit more. You want to be remember, your website is one of your main sales people. People will find it. People are looking for a family-friendly restaurant. They should be looking at this and going, wow, this is amazing. This is not amazing. It's not doing a really good job of telling your story. So now on a desktop, it gets even worse. Google, this page can't load Google Maps correctly for development purposes only. Okay, so now I'm going to get slightly technical here. So they haven't put an API key in there into their website. It's simple to do. Google require you to put a credit card against it. I think it's free for the first 100,000 page views for for a month. Wouldn't have cost them a cent. Straight up, it looks pretty dodgy though, doesn't it? Now, this was introduced, I can't remember when. It probably 3 years ago. Who has looked at their website in the last 3 years? I don't know. It just looks dodgy. It doesn't do a great job of telling you anything about the restaurant, anything about the brand, and it looks dodgy. This should have been fixed. This is the page that would tell you about their kombucha restaurant. Now, let's have a quick look here. So the first thing is, it says Sizzler Kombucha. That is the page title that WordPress has got in there. We know it's a Sizzler. We know it's in kombucha. If anyone had looked for that, Google would have found that page pretty easily. That's not a page that you should really fight for. Have we looked at family friendly? No. I would have entitled that page Kombucha Family Friendly Restaurant. That way, when people are looking for a family friendly restaurant, maybe you'd come up a little bit higher, Sizzler. Maybe. There's a picture of the restaurant. Not a great picture. Could have done, with a little bit of tweaking in the in the color category there, and a map. All pretty basic stuff. You could have put some pictures there of either the team, who's there in the kombucha restaurant. And when we're talking about franchise, we do a little bit of franchise marketing. When we're talking about this is always a little bit of an argument. Is it going to be run by head office? Is it going to be run by the team? And are we going to be telling team stories? I think it would have been good to have a picture of the team in the kombucha restaurant. That is something that could help. Oh, yeah, I would like to go there. And then you have a look at the website, then you go in there and you see the waitress or the chef. And you think, wow, there could be a little bit about them. Chef Henry is from Italy and he likes cooking pizza. Come in and he'll do you a special pizza, something like that. Give them a little bit more than just this. Once again, not a great job of telling their story. Now, you click on the menu. Holy dooly! 2010 called and they want their website back. I don't know what this is meant to say. It is kind of like a menu with really ordinary photos. So something could have been done a lot better to tell the story of this. You've got the pricing up the top. Those images are not tantalizing at all. The creamy bacon pasta salad. I'm not sure. Now I'm not sure what are their most popular salads. You could have them listed out and have an image of the best looking one. I wouldn't have even had like the pumpkin soup. Everyone loves pumpkin soup. You could have had a couple of croutons in there, which I'm pretty sure there's croutons there. And what about a video with some piping steam coming up? Hey, now we're starting to talk. What about one of those gourmet bread rolls? Bit of butter on it. Not a lot has been done to really tell the story of the food at all. So I don't think, when we talked at the start of this about how their product hadn't come a long way, we're not doing a really good job of telling that the story of that product. So I'm not sure how far behind the eight ball they are with this. With their product, or is it just that the story of the product has been so badly told? Because this does not. I think this is probably an average page in that it certainly doesn't make me want to go to Sizzler. Is it average or is it average less? It might be a little bit below average because I look at that and think, really? I could probably find something better. Don't you think? I'm just going to go to another website and see if I can find something. And they're going to have a photo of some food and I'm just going to go, yes, that is what I want to eat. Now, when I said flippantly, 2010 wanted their website back, this is their website. I used a pretty clever Wayback Machine to go way back to 2009. That website actually looks better than the one they've got today. A little bit sad. 2015, this is when they went to that sort of style. I don't think, and I think there's one more here. Yeah, April 8th, 2012, this is when they went to their current website. 8 years since they've done an upgrade on their website. Maybe this is telling us the problem of what they've got at Sizzler. Now, I don't know how long Collins Food has had them in their stable. Potentially all of that time. Come on, Collins Food. We could have done a better job than this. I think, really, we needed to have a little bit more of an update of the website. Really focusing on some of that food. And, the surf and turf, I think they call it a surf and turf. They've got a lobster dish there. Now, lobster's pretty easy to take a decent photo of, I think. It's probably pretty easy to be able to do a video of. But they haven't done that. And they do steaks as well. Steaks on a grill. This stuff sort of does itself. Put a video in there and people are going to go, yeah, that's what I want to eat. Yeah, lock it in. I'm going to make a booking now. We haven't done that in any way, shape or form. And I think that that's really sad. So the end. Sadly, it's the end of Sizzler. What have we learned? Okay, there is a product that you have there. We haven't... Now, I am not sure if that product is still good for 2020, post-COVID. I'm not sure about that. I think that for people like me and Jace, our developer, the product, like I would take my kids there to say, let's go to Sizzler, and then the bread would come out and be like, yeah, wow, this is like the product. It's nostalgia, it's comfort food. I don't know how often I would go, and I don't know how many people there are like me who would want to go to a Sizzler. And if we would ever go back, I think it would really come down to the kids and what they thought of it. All you can eat. Are we post all you can eat? Are we post the buffet? Are we post that kind of buffet? Possibly. I'm not sure. My big overarching question is, though, could Sizzler have been saved with some decent marketing? And I think that from a social media point of view, those photos looked washed out and they didn't really tell the story. You've got lobster, you've got steak, you've got all of the things that can make some pretty good videos to really reach out to people and get them to come back to Sizzler, to redo what it is that Sizzler has, to find that next generation of people. That's the first thing. The second thing, that website. If someone said to me, do you want to go to Sizzler? My initial reaction would have been, hey, that would be cool. And then you see the toast and you think, yes, I remember eating that. It was huge. I'd probably only eat a little tiny bit just to get that taste. Because, want to spend a bit of time at the salad bar and, you're going to get that steak. But then you look at that menu page and I just think, you know what? If we're going to go out, we'll go somewhere better. Let's just go to a burger bar or something. There's there's so much competition out there. So, for the guys at Collins Food, if you're going to do a small brand like this again, really have a look at your website, really have a look at your social media, really have a think about the story that you want to tell, have a think about your unique selling proposition, think about who your customer is and why they would come in. Because I don't think, looking at that website, no one has really had that discussion for a very long time. So that's about it. So let me know what you think. Really keen to see how this cross promotion went between Facebook video and the podcast. And yeah, look, stay safe out there. Make sure in your restaurant you're doing all of the things that you need to be COVID compliant. You don't want, we've seen this in New South Wales quite a bit, restaurants being named as the cluster location. You don't really want that. Stay safe. Make sure your staff are staying safe. Make sure your customers are staying safe. And yeah, we're here to help you to keep the doors open for as long as can. And hopefully, because 2020 has been a pretty crap year, hopefully we're not too far off seeing the end of COVID. That's it. Have a safe day. Bye.